Thank God for Collective Shout and their allies, for without the unceasing, untiring efforts of this small yet determined band of feminists, the name GamerGate would long since have completely faded from the public consciousness. Something like 5 or 6 years ago, probably, but due to their unending ability to call up the boogeyman of decades past, we still get to see this glorious name pop up in the headlines every so often. Or, well, actually, that's what's so intriguing about this article, namely that it is not in the headlines. The article title, GamerGate Returns. Boom, lightning sounds. You know I'm too lazy to edit that in. Collective Shout Edition is not in a mainstream media news article. It isn't written by Kotaku or CNN or BBC or anyone whose name still bears a crumb of weight in the online space. It's written by Online Hate Prevention Institute, a company that is located about a stone's throw away from Collective Shout's own offices. The incestuous nature of this is quite fascinating, considering they wanted to criminalize incest so badly in entertainment. Oh well, details. The article in and of itself is exactly what you think it is. It is a long tirade of, well, part 2 of the usual feminist playbook. The woman cries out in pain as she fetally slaps you. Going Collective Shout is an Australian charity that didn't want to do anything except protect children against exploitation, rape and incest, and now it's being attacked by hundreds of thousands of men! Oh, the humanity of it all. And the examples of these hundreds of thousands of men attacking them? Well, it's stuff like this. Now, I need to take a double take here, because this looked awfully familiar. Very familiar indeed, until I realized this evil man attacking the feminists, I'm pretty sure is Madame Savvy. Whom I believe she's female. Gremlin, to be sure, but a woman nevertheless. Female gremlin. So, strange example to bring up. Another key offender, attacker of the brave feminists, is a blue sky calling them fascists. As the LGBTQIA+ community has apparently taken umbrage with Collective Shout censoring all of their favorite female strangle simulators. Wow. Can you imagine being these women, sitting around your boiling cauldron in your Australian cabal, thinking to yourself, the most left-wing social media site on earth thinks we're fascists. And conservative fascists at that. That is an intriguing situation to be in, to be sure, but the article in and of itself is fairly pointless. It's the usual feminist screeching to go, the government must save us. Government's not interested. This article is written by an Online Hate Prevention Institute, a site so small they can't even get the resolution for their banner right. That's always a good sign right there. Who catalogues online hate, everything from anti-Semitism and cyberbullying to serious trolling. I kinda want to see, what is serious trolling? Oh, wait, is this? Oh, these are just articles. Where's the archive? I want to see the examples of the serious trolling. Troll, verb, internet, to behave in a manner of a troll. This is the hard-hitting journalism that really will get everyone on their side, as the Online Hate Prevention Institute is another tiny-ass Australian non-profit organization, probably located about 15 feet away from the Collective Shout offices. In fact, I wouldn't be overly surprised if they utilized one another's computers to write up articles on. This is interesting because the news itself is filled with lots of stuff about Collective Shout, absolutely. GameSpot, The Gamer, Wired, GameRant, all of this, all of the usual sites that during the era of GamerGate were all decrying gamers don't need to be your audience, gamers are over, in lockstep. Yet, virtually all of these are either lauding the anti-censorship movement, moving against Collective Shout, or otherwise critiquing them, or even, absurdly of all, neutrally reporting on the matter, going Collective Shout appears to be a bunch of crazy women who wanted to take away people's fapping games, and succeeded, weirdly enough, despite mobilizing a billionth of the support of the anti-censorship movement. This isn't these mainstream media sites waking up to what's going on, mind you. That's never going to happen. It is the turning of the wheel. Back in the day, the original feminist movement, well, they were touring the United Nations. They were speaking in Congress. They were speaking in parliaments across the world. When Zoe Quinn got bullied, nations quivered. When Collective Shout gets drowned in presumed rape and hate threats or whatever the hell else is going on, due to the fact that they decided to censor 500 games from Steam and give even more power to the payment processors, who are even now poised to fuck us all in every single hole we don't want delved or explored, they're receiving no attention, to the point where the only people talking about them are their own allies from next door. Indeed, I was looking at this article and thinking to myself, I'm not going to do a deal on this. This is nonsense. This is the usual idiocy that we've seen time and time again, until I realized, wait, who the fuck is writing this drivel? It's the people that share a zip code with Collective Shout. See, this is the big thing right here. This is yet again the reason why I genuinely believe that the reason why the Steam games got censored and why itch.io got censored for a while is not because of Collective Shout, but rather because of the payment processors basically running and operating Collective Shout in order to attempt to push through their own agenda. Because this group has no reach, they have no friends, they have no allies. They can't even offer to blow somebody working in a gaming site to give them halfway decent coverage. This was obviously the payment companies themselves seeing an opportunity to rid themselves of things that they viewed as distasteful, things that they did not like politically, and could find an easy to abuse excuse to do so, and to direct most of the hatred back towards this group, whilst they themselves, their call centers is being buried by calls and they're getting emails, but they're probably farming that out to some poor Indian call center or something. And again, the intriguing thing here is that a lot of these news sites are talking about this. Oh my god, like the anti-censorship movement is absolutely massive. It's absolutely crushing the Collective Shout one. Why isn't it having any effect? This is fantastic. This is a great data point to bring to the normies and go, okay, you think this was censorship. You think this was a group of feminists finding 500 games on Steam that are actually literally objectionable, that is child exploitation, yada yada yada. Okay, well, if that's the case, then surely if they can get this going with 1,000 emails, then 100,000 emails telling that they're wrong, and they are wrong, by the way, as yet again, the entire allegation that Steam and itch.io featured child exploitation, rape and/or incest is just nonsense. The only portion of this sentence that is true is that one. As yes, there are probably going to be some incest games on there, but they're pixels. Like they're going to get pregnant and spawn an entire generation of inbred children or anything. And Steam itself has a zero tolerance policy towards anything that even resembles a child, okay? No way any of this is true. And even in they emailed Collective Shout via emails. Oh, so what games did you take down? Did you get any feedback on it? And they come back with, we found 500 games with tags for this, and you know, by the way, Steam has a system where you can add your own tags to games, so we're not lying, we're just being a bit creative with the truth here. But we didn't actually talk about what game specifically or get any feedback. You know, we were just emailing the payment processors because, well, running to the boss of whoever you are trying to cancel, that's Feminism 101 right there. But this movement has no power, it has no authority, it has no influence. Collective shout and groups like these are nothing but relics of a bygone age, whose only worth now is to mega corporations to be used as a shield, for them to hold them up in front of them and go, feminism told us to do it. What do you want from us? They're crazy, yo. This is the payment processors. They are the target that needs to be focused on here, and with recent introductions like the right to free access to banking, for example, in the US, and various bills working their way through the US now, attempting to curve in the power of payment processors, hopefully there will be a way to do so. Granted, us Europeans are going to be as fucked as ever, but hey, at this point, we're almost starting to get used to it, and honestly, if there is one good thing about the European Union, it is that it doesn't really tolerate competition. So if the payment processors start to muscle in on their territory of terrorizing and tyrannizing the populace, I'm sure they'll regulate them somehow, even if it might not be the regulation that anyone wanted, asked for, or desired. Anyways, I just thought this was funny, that this entire boogeyman here, we've kind of created our own GamerGate in a microcosmos, except whereas our GamerGate was literally a grassroots movement that, in the end, largely failed in its objectives, but did create a generation of resistance, this, well, it succeeded in its objective, but it has created no future support. In fact, it swept the legs under whatever little support already existed. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope to see you all again soon. Till then, good day.